Donald Trump, the most polarizing leader in modern history. Love him or hate him, you can't ignore him. But what if I told you his face, his gestures, and even the way he speaks reveal more about him than you ever imagined? Buckle up, because today we're diving deep into the body language and physiognomy of Donald Trump. And trust me, this will change how you see him forever. Let's start with the most defining feature of Trump's face, his jawline. A broad, square jaw like his? It's the mark of dominance, resilience, and an unshakable will. People with this trait don't back down, they don't compromise easily, and they always push forward. Sounds familiar? That's because Trump embodies all of it. Whether in business, politics, or personal battles, he fights to win. Now, look at his eyebrows. They're thick and slightly slanted, giving him a permanently assertive, almost confrontational look. In physiognomy, this indicates leadership, control, and a desire to be in charge. Trump doesn't just like power, he demands it. His thin lips? That's a classic sign of emotional restraint. But here's the twist. When a person with thin lips loses control, they don't just get mad, they explode. We've all seen Trump's fiery rants, his Twitter wars, his unfiltered emotions. It's all part of the package. But Trump isn't just about his face. His body language is a whole different people. Let's break it down. The OK gesture. You've seen it 1,000 times. Trump forming a circle with his thumb and index finger while the other fingers stay extended. This isn't random. In psychology, this gesture signifies precision, certainty, and authority. It's his way of saying, I know what I'm talking about. Trust me. It's calculated, it's persuasive, and it works. The power fist, more than just a gesture. Every great leader has their signature move, a defining action that reinforces their message without a single word. For Donald Trump, it's the clenched fist raised high in the air. At first glance, this might seem like a simple gesture, a reflexive show of strength, but in reality, it's much more than that. The raised fist is a universal symbol of power, defiance, and resilience. Historically, it has been used by revolutionaries, activists, and leaders rallying their supporters. But Trump has made it his own. Unlike many politicians who reserve this gesture for moments of triumph, Trump uses it strategically, whether he's winning or under attack. Think about it. He doesn't just raise his fist after victories. He does it when he's facing criticism, when he's being challenged, or when he wants to remind his audience, I am still here. I am still fighting. It's not just a sign of strength, it's a psychological anchor. In body language analysis, a clenched fist isn't just about confidence. It's a display of tension and emotional intensity. It signals a readiness for battle, a deep-seated conviction that he won't back down. And when Trump pairs this move with his signature stare, brows furrowed, lips pressed, it reinforces the idea that he sees himself as a warrior, constantly in the fight. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Trump doesn't just use the fist for himself. He uses it to ignite his audience. When he raises that fist at rallies, it's a call to action, a way of saying, we're in this together, stay strong, keep fighting. And in return, his supporters mirror it back, creating a powerful loop of shared defiance. This isn't accidental. It's the mark of a leader who understands the psychology of influence. Because whether you agree with him or not, one thing is undeniable. Trump knows how to command a crowd, and the power fist is one of his most potent weapons. The finger point. Ever notice how often Trump points directly at people? This isn't just some random habit. It's an aggressive, calculated move that dominant personalities use to establish control. In the world of body language, pointing is one of the most confrontational gestures. It signals accusation, authority, and even intimidation. But here's the interesting part. Trump doesn't just point aimlessly. He does it with intention. Whether he's calling out a journalist, putting an opponent on the spot, or emphasizing a strong statement, his finger becomes a verbal exclamation point. This is a technique that instantly shifts power in a conversation. When someone is on the receiving end of that pointed finger, they are immediately placed in a defensive position. They have to react. They have to respond. And that's exactly what Trump wants. Look closely at his rallies. When he addresses the crowd, his gestures are expansive. Open arms, raised hands, welcoming movements. But the moment he shifts to attacking, that's when the finger comes out. He points to critics, to rivals, to the media. It's a way of isolating them, turning them into the enemy in the eyes of his audience. This gesture creates a clear division, an us versus them dynamic. It's no longer just about politics, it's about a battle, and Trump is the leader rallying his troops. Psychologically, this move forces his opponents into reaction mode. Instead of controlling the conversation, they are suddenly on trial, defending themselves against his words. And here's where it gets even deeper. Watch his hand placement. Sometimes, he combines the finger point with a downward motion, as if he's delivering a final judgment. Other times, he jabs forward sharply, signaling an attack. This is why his speeches feel like battles, because they are. Every point, every gesture, it's all part of a psychological strategy designed to dominate, challenge, and control the narrative. And the most fascinating part? It works. Section 3. The Art of Speaking. Now let's talk about Trump's speech pattern. Because if there's one thing that separates him from traditional politicians, it's the way he talks. 1. Simple, repetitive phrases. Ever notice how Trump repeats himself? We're winning, we're winning, we're winning. Fake news, fake news, fake news. This isn't by accident. Studies show that repetition makes ideas stick in people's minds. Trump uses this technique to make sure his words don't just land, they stay. 2. The dramatic pause. Trump loves a good pause. He'll start a sentence, then stop, then boom. He hits you with the punchline. This technique builds suspense, keeps his audience hooked, and makes his words sound powerful. 3. Volume swings. Unlike traditional politicians, Trump shouts, whispers, and changes his tone dramatically. Why? Because it forces you to pay attention. He turns his speeches into a performance, a roller coaster of emotions. And whether you love it or hate it, one thing's for sure, you can't ignore it. The final reveal. So, what does all this tell us? Trump isn't just a businessman or a politician. He's a master of psychological warfare. His face, his gestures, his speech, they're all carefully designed tools that make him one of the most influential, controversial, and unforgettable figures of our time. So the next time you see him speak, watch closely, because now you know what to look for. If you found this breakdown eye-opening, make sure to subscribe for more deep dives into the world of power, influence, and the hidden language of the elite. I'll see you in the next one.